Joining us, a member of the House Oversight Committee, Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari, who is a Democrat from Arizona. So your colleagues, Congresswoman Ro Khanna, Tom Massie, you heard them. They're confident. Are you confident?
I am. I mean, I'm disappointed that we don't have the numbers quite yet. But, you know, I sat in the room with the survivors of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for several hours, listening to their heartbreaking testimonies, their stories, their account of this massive cover-up and the sex trafficking that they endured. And there were several members of the Republican Party in the room, men who, from what I saw, were listening intently and seemed deeply concerned about what they heard. And I actually spoke with Congressman Massie the other day about this. Where are the men? You just saw the photos. We have Massie and we have 3 Republican women so far. I think more men need to step up and sign this discharge petition if they truly believe in accountability. So I'm hoping that the ones who were in the room and actually heard directly from the women feel compelled to do so.
Well, I think obviously the part of the problem is that when you see Republican Tom Massie doing what he's doing, he's taking a tremendous amount of heat from Donald Trump on this. In fact, he's gotten to the point where he told Donald Trump that he wants the ads that are going after him to stop. Same party, right? So given the pressure we're seeing, I wonder what does give you confidence, since the president has been pretty successful in this term at keeping Republicans from going against him.
You know, I think things have changed. I think that the public pressure is so compelling and so serious right now on this issue. I think it was a watershed moment to see these women on the steps of the United States Capitol. I mean, the crowd was massive. You know, we had so many people there, women, some of them sharing their stories for the first time ever. And in talking to them, they feel that this time is different. Of course, I think that they are very rightfully distrustful. They're rightfully skeptical. But they said this time feels different. Now, where I'm extremely concerned is for their safety. I think that they are taking a massive risk putting themselves out there like this. They want justice and they deserve justice. And there has been now decades of a cover-up taking place in this. And it's not just about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. It's about all of the individuals who were complicit, enabled the abuse and the cover-up and the crimes and the sex trafficking that went on for so long. And those individuals are still out there. Those perpetrators are still out there. One of the most, something I'll never forget that the women said was that many of them, you know, they were 13, 14 years old when this would happen. Jeffrey Epstein, by the time they were 17 years old, would essentially be done with them, tell them that they are too old. And that's when some of them were handed off to other powerful men who are still alive today, still in positions of power, and still have not been held accountable. And that's where we need to make sure that they are.
Are the 3 Republican women working behind the scenes to convince their Republican colleagues? We certainly saw Marjorie Taylor Greene come out at that press conference and very strongly stand with the survivors. Are they working the folks that they're close to on the Republican side?
My understanding is that they are. And I will honestly say here, I have gained respect for Marjorie Taylor Greene in particular. I think that what she is doing is very brave. I think her coming to the press conference at the Capitol, the things that she said, she actually outright offered to be the one to name names on the House floor because the women, the survivors, are now saying that maybe they will put out a list. And of course, their safety is in grave danger. Many have faced threats throughout their entire lives. So I think her in particular, she is working with Massie on this. And again, I do respect them because it's obviously not nothing when the president of the United States, Donald Trump, in the White House is calling this a hostile act to sign this discharge petition. That in and of itself, to me, is such a red alert in terms of the fact that they're covering this up.
He called it a Democratic hoax.
He called it a Democratic hoax, and he said any member of the Republican Party who signs this petition is committing a hostile act towards the White House.